Hi everyone, my name is Connie Young-Davis. I'm from Victoria, Vancouver Island, Canada. And I have been growing this beautiful dahlia for 30 years. In my garden, I currently have over 800 plants and have been hybridizing dahlia for 14 years. And I am proud to have developed 15 new varieties. On average, I'm attending and complete 4 to 5 shows each summer. I feel this show and competition provide me with an opportunity to meet other growers. It can be compared to attending summer school, but in this case, a school to learning how to increase my knowledge by growing dahlia from listening, watching, and discussing new techniques for growing healthier dahlias, picking up tips on how to prepare bloom and staging for competition. Today, I'm here to share with you what I have learned about preparation and staging for show and judging. I hope this information was useful. And let's dive into the essential elements of preparing your dahlias for a successful show. Just you know that West Coast Canada call dahlias, and I know you call dahlias, so. Anyway, so I have so many people have asked me about it. Each show I've been, they always say, how do you transport the dahlias, and how do you cut it, when do you cut it, and what do you do? And every time we land into the place, they always want to know, is the ending like your blooms come out of the vehicle? And how can you fit in that many? And so I thought, it's nice to talk about, not just to put the bloom on the table. And I think the preparation and try to get ready, that's the most important and how to get there and the dahlia still survive. So, and today I like to go through all of that, and maybe we can have some Q&A at the end. So filling with the buckets. Buckets of water are filled a day in advance to allow the chlorine and the tap water to dissipate, which generally takes for a few hours. Sometimes it takes up to 24 hours. Because in our city, the water, when you open the tap, we can drink it, but you can taste it, you can smell the chlorine. Then the bucket are filled with the foam and water. This is the final prep before cutting the dahlia bloom and place them in the bucket. So I know the foam is getting to some problem that we're not able to get it anymore. But in our area, we still continue using it. And our society has been looking to a different option. And sometime in the future, what we're going to use. And people come from a different idea to what to use. Some people suggest to use moss, and some people suggest to use paper. I saw some of the newspaper is pretty messy, and I see someone here use the Oasis, but I know Oasis a cost too, and it's still landfill, as it still comes an issue. So we'll see, someday maybe we'll come up with some idea. Picking and cutting the blooms, this is a process of sorting and deciding which bloom to take to show. Cutting must be done early morning or sunset to keep dahlia bloom fresh and place them in the cool room immediately after cutting and store them there until transport. So what I usually do, it depends where I'm traveling to. Locally, you might be due a day ahead, but if we have to travel across the border, I might have to do it on Thursday morning. and or sometimes might have to do on a Wednesday evening, because if I have to start traveling on Friday, if it comes to go the border on Friday, so we have to do a day or two ahead of time. Attempting to arrange the bloom by height and size in order to maximize space. This is it shows that's how many bloom I would cut. Colin's always concerned that we'll need a kill band. Bloom stem is actually the stem that we support with the bamboo stick. You're probably able to see it from the photo here. And support use the hair clip or the pipe cleaners. So help so when you're traveling, so you don't break the stem. Here's some example for bloom that are transported in show vases. Transfer inside the daily mobile flower have the show tags. So Colin had done is the 3 rows of seed removed, then 3/4 inches plywood, fitted in flashing on the vehicle, that 3 different level, and covered with the foam carpet underlay. First level holds about around 40 stem, and raised but held down with the angle of a 2x4. Mix with the short and long, and use both large and small vases, allow them to be tightly packed. So actually, they're not touching each other. You look at it, it's like a lot of bloom in there. So he used Colin's really careful to try to make sure from which angle look at, they don't rubbing each other. Blooms are in a large bucket and are packing into the middle of the vehicle on the custom-made platform. The added headroom is especially handy for the tallest bloom, like when you have those dinner plate ones, so the stem's quite tall, so it's easier. Because I think what he did is all the vehicle back there, he took all the back seat out, so he built those platform. He's not a shot from a look at different angle. When traveling or transporting, and make sure the blooms do not touching each other. This is an important practice to remember. So view from the rear of the vehicle. Platforms are bucket and have non-skid rubber and sandbag to help. They stabilize the bucket and to ensure that they don't slide. I have to tell you that when I'm seeing people bring the dahlias in, and I was just shaking my head, they just have it put in a bucket and all the wrapping it, they're all touching, almost like go buy a bouquet. Like I watched it for yesterday. No, don't do that. Custom box for holding buckets in place. So actually, this is quite comes in handy if you normally I cut bloom and take it to work all the time every day. So this is from many time. I spill a bucket of water back in my trunk. So and he built those boxes. Actually, sit in the bucket, and doesn't matter when it's never have any issue again. So it just really comes in handy. It's not a shot of us all fully loaded, ready to go. Yeah, I think I could easily get about 100 to 150 stem bloom in the vehicle. It depends at the sizes, so sometimes you can even get more of the smaller one. I know I got carried away driving on a high five without being able to see the rear view mirror and add to the challenge. I always have to bargain, and even I'm ready to go. I know I look at the bucket and I say, oh God, now you're going to be not able to get on the bus. What are you going to do? I always say, well, you think I can able to bring a bucket right, put in front of me? Or maybe in between?
How many hours can you travel with them?
Oh, well, the first we drove went to Portland, and went to Wenatchee last year. So Portland, you look at it 6 hours, and we live in an island, so hour and a half ferry ride, and they got to the border and 6 hour drive. So easy, you could go a day for as long as you keep the temperature, like we turn on the air conditioning, so that will help. But generally, it's pretty good actually. Not too much issue. I maybe lose a couple bloom because with the air conditioning, maybe some of the bloom all of a sudden it's too cold or some. But otherwise, most of the time it's pretty good. So here's a shot from you. The tailgate, and having an excellent driver is a bonus. Now he's unloaded at show, ready to stage. You can see the back there, those are staged, that's at the 40. You can see the top to the 40, I have been staged, ready, it's all packed in the car. Rest is the bucket that is fitting in the vehicle, the middle of the vehicle, and from the back. So that's from one vehicle. So what do you need staging? So what I have, I just had some people ask me, because I'm using the kneading needle. So, and at different sizes. Actually, it's really work well, and especially you have those oases. So even you soak it, and I just look at one and cut one arm. I show it to you. I don't know how long this has been soaked, but he's still dry. You can see the spot. Can I without the mic? Am I allowed enough? Yeah. And what happened is, I just see some people poke the stem right in the oasis. Sometimes they can clog the stem. It may not able to get in the water. And if you have one to poke it in, so at least it help a bit so the stem goes through easier, or you can break your stem. So, and even what we use the foam, it's always better use that needle to poke a hole in the support. I know the foam is easy, you can move around, but the oasis you can't. You're only taking 2-3 chances, and it's kind of loose, but it's kind of hard. But I learned that this is what perfect example that I saw the spot. It's just still not wet enough. So when you stage and you put it out there, looks good. Maybe just a few hours later, you can see the petals are starting really well. So this is really good that if you have, you can just, how thick the stem, so you can get a small one and poke a hole and you put your stem in, and they help a lot. So it has scissors, but I have a different one because I didn't bring any with me. I used what they call the Chinese deadly scissors. Well, the reason why I have is because a lot easy for your hand, so I can hold my hand clipping all the time, and not a clipper. And it's for if you have any bugs or anything, or sometimes the petal So have you heard people talking about blooming the balloon? So the paintbrushes really help. Or we have anything see people use the fingers thing to try to tip it. The brush is more gentle. And I also have some Q-tip. What the Q-tip does, if you have a spot, have a bug bite or anything, and you just use a little water, use the Q-tip to like clean it out. And after staging bloom, you can look at it. So this is sort of final thing that how makes it a little bit easier. And clean, like the bloom had to be clean. Thank you. That's nice. Yeah. So another thing is the headlamp. I saw a couple of people had the last night because when we were staging last night until it was the 9, 10 o'clock, didn't turn on the light and the people not able to see. So that the headlamps are really help, and especially when you have to stage late. So those is the we start staging, but I don't really have a lot of bloom today. So I could just do a few. All the nice blooms on the head table, and I came from quite far away, and I didn't bring any bloom this time. Cross the border is a challenge, so I want to make sure that I'm able to make it here. So I would like to do a one single bloom. So again, same thing that it depends on what thick the hole is. So always try to right in the middle. But then you can always use hand to support the stem to slowly, gently push down and aiming how you want the bloom to look like. I have no idea. So I couldn't tell you. I have no idea. I just saw them have extra. Someone have extra, so I just scooped them. Yeah.
How far did you push the needle in first?
I just do about 2 inches. So you get the hole so that stems are slowly going down. Because you get water after you 2 to 3 inches. It's the water at the bottom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and then also hope, you don't need to poke it right through the end, but
That's what I was wondering.
yeah. So always try to get the angle of 45, and one thing that I found at this show, with judging today, a lot of people leave so many sets of leaf. And I've even seen this 4 sets or 5 sets of leaf. Why you need that many? Actually, so many leaves, it distracts the bloom, and people focus on the greenery here, forgot about the bloom. So you want to show the bloom, but 1 set, 2 set, I think that should be it. It depends. I mean, if this one, I could take the bottom sets of leaf off, and it doesn't really look balanced. So that's why I kind of leave that alone. But you don't need another 1 set. So I see some of the about this tall, and the bloom so small, and actually some of the kind of clock facing looking down. If that stem is not straight, and if you're gonna do that, and actually it's become the clock facing, and not really looking up. So this is the single bloom. So I like to do a triple bloom. You don't have to put it down all the way down first. You have to wait till what else is the rest that you put in.
Did you decide which glue where before you placed the first one in the bag?
Yeah, I think that is you better to pick it out. If you gotta have a 5 bloom, and you just pick it which one's gonna be. So pick that up first. If you're traveling, able to have it and take 4 with you, you're gonna make a triple bloom. And also you have to want to also make sure which way they're facing. Like this one that I would go for, put on the left side. The reason why is this bloom is not 100% of us facing the kind of lean on one side, but if you could have put it on the left side, and actually the angle is looking much better. You can it's balance it out. It looks better. So now this stem's not that thick, so I use a smaller needle. So now this sets a leaf is going in a way. So I ripped it off because you have 2 sets already. Always use both hands to hold the bloom. Now you can adjust the other one. Now what happened, what I have here, the back one, the blooms are bigger, then you always want to put, if you 3 of them not exactly same size, then you have to want to make sure to put the smaller one at the front. Because you want to put a big one at the front, it's an eye catcher, so it doesn't balance it out. So this is the triple. Okay. So I had one in here I like to talk about. That this bloom is actually, you see the leaf is really crotchy. If you have bloom that's not being at least a 1.5 size, is probably the idea the judge looking at, because we judge it today. It's the same thing as some of the leaf have to set all the way to the back. You have to, the leaf has covered the petal. So if you're able to do it and then try to not to pick something like that. But you can see it's not the greatest on this one here, but that's what you have in the garden to bring it, right? But if you have a choice, then you wouldn't really want to have the 3rd set of leaf again. And then also, if some of the leaf is really high and you can able to use a hand to hold it for a little bit, and then the leaf will more flat than, touch all the way up to the bloom.
Can you do anything to remove those leaves to get them flatter while they're still before you even cut them?
That's what I'm doing right now. You don't want to, after you cut it, when you're staging it, you don't want to do it way before, right? So if you do that, see this one, you can, it looks a little better, but not like just way up to when it's straight up. So if you can able to do that. So it looks a little better than, but even the stems are not like, but you don't want to cut all the way, that would be too short. She took them. Now I like to do a 5 bloom. I wandered around last night and looking see if I could able 5 bloom, and I only able to get 3, and this morning I got a couple more, so I could able to have enough. So again, it's same thing. You look at always go from the back first before the front. So the front is more straight. Yep. Triple blooms is always focused on the logons, the size and color and the center. So same thing, those leaves a little crunchy, so but that's all I have for today. So I just do see if I can able to make it work. And leaves not touching the bloom. Here's your five bloom. It's actually when you need to practice, it's pretty easy to make five bloom. People are always nervous about making multi-blooms, you know, but you need to make a choice and what you picking the bloom, try the center, the sizes, and the bloom position. I might try to do another five bloom. Sorry?
What are the most blooms you've ever done?
I don't know. I grow everything, and it's just I grow different sizes of bloom, but I know I do like a bigger bloom myself. I think the wow factor for me.
Connie, I don't think, how many are the most blooms you've ever done in one?
Oh, the 9.
Oh my God.
The 9.
Wow.
I have a picture. If you could show it.
Wow.
So this is the triple. I'm making it different, so it's to give you an idea to the triple bloom. Again, that's the 5 bloom. So 5 bloom seems it's much like the triple bloom uniformity, and also the key once again focus on the size, the color, and the center. I know different society requirement different. If you sometime the 9 bloom they want to put in 3 different container, and probably much easier, right? But if the blooms are pretty big, then you probably end up to, if you are any over the B size, you might have to use 3 separate containers. And the next one I have 9 bloom. And the next slide. So this is the 5 bloom I made. So that's a 9 bloom. So that's Captain Colin, named after my husband, my driver.
Connie, can you talk about how you grew your plants to prepare them for the show?
Okay. So grooming, let me finish this one. So now they're by bloom in the ball. Baby Danielle.
I know, right? Makes it look so easy.
It practice, right?
Right.
You need to practice quite often when you have nothing to do. So you can do it out there.
And so question is, how many of that variety plant would you grow to be able to get 5 blooms to exhibit?
Minimum 4 plant.
4 plants?
Yeah.
Okay.
Minimum 4 plant. I put on here. Now, talking about how do you groom the bloom, and I remember the first time I ever learned was it 2010. I went to Chattanooga, Tennessee for the national show, and I didn't have any bloom with me, so judging with Eleanor Wink, yeah, and also Danielle Pasher, and then I was in the team. I was a newbie 2010, I was still pretty new, and I would listen to them. I was a candidate judge back then, and I watched them, and I thought, well, I was training that you're not supposed to touch the bloom at all. And I saw them how they do, and you're supposed to this, you're supposed to do that, and they call it grooming. So, and that's when they come into the paintbrush and what you look at, and depends on how big the petal. If sometimes when you have a windy day and the blooms get a bad hairdo, then you gotta do say, this is petal in the back because it seems to start look like a loose deform, but it's been, especially bigger bloom, it's been probably a few days now. So maybe you can help because the petal is not, so you can maybe use the paintbrush, help a little bit now with the semi-cactus and how you're gonna do this petal, and just to use that, the paintbrush will help a little bit to do that. And also if you have the ID, same thing, for example of asparagus, vasomago, and all the ID bloom, and when it's a windy day and the petal is blown any which way, so it doesn't seem to look that way, so you can always use the paintbrush. And also, there's called the bear on one side. You can able to use the hand really gently. You can able to try to help her do that, but not like smack it. Just gently you can do it out the big that help a bit for the bloom. So, and like I said, the Q-tip, I didn't bring any Q-tip with me. The Q-tip would be if you want to have a few spots, any bugs, anything, use a Q-tip to try to touch out a little bit, touch it with the water, and you can take that. And always check your bloom before, after you cut it and take it ready to go. I see some bugs crawling all over the bloom, but you could do better. So get the paintbrush or get a Q-tip and check through it and each bloom. That's what I do after I cut it. I always check through it before I put in the buckets ready to go. And the leaf, everything, and I know this time of year powder mildew and how you are able to degrease that and clean them up and strip the bottom leaf. That would help as well.
Wedges on some of those large blooms in the oasis?
No, and my first time see the wedges. Yeah, if you could able to aiming to put the hole in and not to use the too big a needle. If that stem is not that big, don't use the too big a needle and poke in the hole, and the bottom of the hole is better if you straight down to pick the big hole, and the hole might be start loose and you end up use the wedge. And I think the problem people keep hold it out and put it back in, that's why the holes keep loose, so and you end up use the wedges. And that's one backdoor about the oasis. You only could use many times. Yeah, so we don't use it. I don't never use it. Never seen it. That's my first time I seen the wedges. Yeah.
Do you have tips for powdery mildew cleanup, or is it impossible?
I would just use the the water, paper, use the paper and some water and just wipe a little bit. And I seen the bottle, I'm not sure what they use at I see some white stuff people use it.
Milk.
Is it milk? I never used that before. I feel like some of them like oily.
Some people are using canola oil and water mixed.
No, I never used them. Could you play the next one there, please? No, you probably didn't hear me. Could you play the next one at the end? Now, for what I seen the show yesterday and today, I found that the staging is a huge problem, and the sets of leaf, I'm not sure what is it for people keeping 4 to 5 sets of leaf. I repeat myself again, that because it's only required for 1 set of leaf, when the stems are not straight and you're still holding that 3 or 4 or 5 sets of leaf, it's really make the bloom, it doesn't really look like a balance. If you kind of cut them a little short and put it down, the blooms looks much, balance looks better. You have to really want a bloom to look at you. Look at me, I'm so pretty. You know, a 45 angle, not the facing down. And a lot of people have that one bloom, they couldn't even get the bloom kind of like have to hold the bloom up and look at so nice. How are you gonna judging the bloom to kind of clock facing? But you could able to avoiding that the problem. So,
I noticed one of the photos in the beginning of your slideshow, you had a lot of umbrellas in your garden.
yeah.
Tell me why you use those.
Umbrella I have is 3 days, 4 days before the show, for sun or for rain. But I know the umbrella can be a nightmare because when you get a windy day. Yeah.
So you find getting the sun off of them for 3 to 4 days before a show improves what, the color?
The color, and if you have some darker color like a purple, red, and especially the pink color, it will burn like the sunburn and fade to white. So, but I don't want to leave it for too long. Since I cut the bloom, I have to take it down again because you don't want them to end up so leggy. And I have one bed, I use the shade cloth, but that's only for a short time because you don't want the get leggy and get too long, and the stem is not strong. Yes.
In one of your earlier shots, you filled buckets, or 24 hours, and you were pouring, and you put foam on the top. What's the foam do?
The foams are holding the stem. Like I see what you have here, people. You get the bucket like this, and you drill the hole. And I'm sure that you might use the pipe cleaner to hold the bloom, right? But what I have is all this foam. I cut the bloom, I poke it in, and I use the bamboo stick to hold it. And I don't need it again because the foam is holding the bloom. No, it's the crushed foam. Yeah. Yeah. It's the foam that you used it before. I know. I remember back to many years ago. Dick? Was it you used the foam before? Some of the green
I'm
one.
still using it, but you can't get it anymore.
It's a gold. It's like a gold now. If you have some of the foam at home, that's a gold. You can't buy any more.
It's just shredded plastic now.
Yeah, but it works really, really well, and in the water. And I found that we are still using, and I'm still using at home. And I see some people just cut the bloom, just hold it in a bucket, and then bring it in. The blooms that keep walking like this. I said, oh my God, you don't do that.
That's your before overusing shade cloth will cause your stems to.
It depends on what's shade cloth. Some of the 50, some of the 60. 40, some that's 70. What I had, I believe, is a 50-50, the green one. But that's only for a short period of time, just the show time that for that couple weeks. But you still get able to get some sun just for that short period.
Because this summer, in Michigan, it was really hot.
Yeah, but if you
It's unusual.
no, I would get some not like the high, the 70 one, that 50 one that will help a bit. But that shade cloths only help the sunburn, but they're not helping for one's rainy day. Yeah, but it does help a bit. I see some today, like the one is a dark pink. It's not dark pink, it's a pale pink. Like the back is a completely white, the front is a dark pink, they bloom. And I'm sure they've been, have been under a lot of sun, like they have like a strong sun.
How far down do you just bud?
I generally do two. And if the AA, I might go 3.
How do you account when you're staging for a crooked stem? Do you have any, do you have any tips on how to handle that? Or
Yeah.
an imperfect, setup?
Yes, not every single bloomers that have a perfect stem straight. So you look at it if, say this bloom actually is not a perfect angle. You see it, but I wouldn't put it over that side because the angle is set is it this way, so I have to try to make sure it's a help and put it this side. But if I put it that side, so it's not going to balance. So if you do a multi-bloom and the way you stage it so you can play around, I would just practice at home to show how you do it. And as long as the bloom, the sizes look okay, like they all look similar size, and for that little bit of angle and the point, the judge wouldn't take a lot more. But you're talking about bloom is at 30, the form is a 30 point and the color is at 20. But the bloom position, how many you gotta take? Like the stem, you only got a 10 point, right? The only way you take a small point. So, and you just depends on which angle is sitting. If it's sitting on the right, you probably want to put on the left side. So that will help balance a bit too. Yeah. Yeah. Hi.
We use a lot of floral foam, which is a very toxic material. And I'm from Connecticut. We haven't had that foam that you use, but you said you can't get anywhere. Have you tried like any floral wire or anything else besides floral foam to?
I've seen the people use the really thin wire for the flower shop, the really thin one you can able to put in that hold it better, like almost mixed up in the ball. And as long as the stem's not too thick, so you can play around it. What I've seen them to do is that they put it on top of the container, not pushed down. So then you can just play around and you start slowly sink that at the bottom. So that helps a bit. I think that's the best you can do right now. We have been looking at all different avenues of what you can use rather than the foam. I know the foam was really perfect for
It's
this
easy,
thing.
but
Much easier, yeah.
it's very toxic and it's.
Yeah, but then
toxic
the wire you still continue to be useful, right? So you can even use it for the next time. Yeah.
There are some new things that come like honeycombs. They're plastic, they're still plastic, but they're reusable, and they have holes in them that kind of look like the cells on a honeycomb. And you can put the stems in there, and that holds the stems right, it fits right over the top of the container. There's a lot of people that are 3D printing them to fit exactly into the container. So that's just so that you know. Those things aren't great for cut flowers, but they don't look poison.
Okay. You mean something like this?
You have to have a way low, yeah.
Is it you mean something like this?
Something, sort of, yeah. They're honeycomb and they fit on top of the bucket. They're not cut. And there's some that you can get down here. There's this, it's a cylinder bucket, it's not a straight line bucket, so you can, if you 3D print them perfectly to fit down into your bucket, I think it might be an option.
One thing that is so much easier is to have one single bloom that you can just have a piece like our society did was have a piece of wood right the fit in the top, and they cut through in the middle, cut through right in the middle, so they put the one single bloom, have the clip to hold it, and just felt the water is at the bottom. But that's only good for one single bloom. But what about triple? What about 5 blooms? So that comes a challenge. So, and I think we're still talking about sometime in the future what we're going to do with that. So I know it's a challenge. I guess everybody is on the same boat. We all have the same issue. Yeah. Any other questions?
Do you ever use floral frogs?
Yeah, I see some people that use it, but I haven't. Last year, I saw it in Wenatchee National Show. People use the raw, and people use the floral frog. Yeah, whatever is work for you. I mean, right now. But again, it depends on the container, right? So, and also one bloom, it would be much easier when you're going through 3 bloom, 5 bloom, or 7 bloom, and that's gonna becomes the issue, like a different size container. And yeah, well, hopefully someone will come up with something simple in the future. Yeah, I see some people call the 3D printing, the printing out and have something on the fit in the bucket, but that's only fit in the bucket. Like, see, I know this is put out a standard walls for what we're using. It just the color different. Maybe you can come up to use one of this, but single bloom. So what about triple? What about 5 bloom? Right?
I'm thinking of some sort of clay putty. You know, if you had like a base disc, and then once you have some sort of clay putty that you could have movement.
So yeah, well,
But it would need to have the water, you you could restrict the water absorption.
No, the clay putty would be on top to hold the stems. Kind of, I don't know, just a thought I'd throw out.
well, I tell you, well, someone better look into it, and you might become up something as
Well, let's start playing.
yeah, exactly. So that'd be a great business. Rather for shop and looking for that. Just keep thinking.
It should be a contest for next year's ADS show to come up with different ideas.
Yeah, maybe idea. Yeah, well, who's the host of the show in Michigan?
Michigan.
Hey, talk to the show chair Michigan.
I'm gonna find
Put in something like that, you know. It's a great idea.
There's probably engineers in the community, and
I'm sure every society has been talked about it, and ours too. You know, what we're going to use when after the form, but we still have it now. But what's going to happen when that form's run out? Each year that you lose some form, right? But it's yes, Pat.
Would you talk a little bit about how you groom your blooms when they're still growing? I mean, I've heard that you go out and check everyone every day.
Call and pluck your ears. Well, I for the bigger one, and I usually go out to look at, because it takes about 7 to 10 days to really open up for the dinner plate, and I go out to look every single day to check it out and see if the show's coming up and how they do. And depends on the area, because my areas are scattered. Jonah, you've been to see my garden last month, so I'm the back garden, a fun garden. So I'm living in a windy area. So, and first of all, I want to make sure tie the bloom first and make sure the stem is straight. And like I put up the umbrella maybe a few days ahead of time, and also when the blooms start to get big, because they're wrapping up the leaf. So I will try to make sure that when the blooms get bigger, to open up
bigger, to not to check the leaf. So I'm out there, use the string to tie the pull up back here a little bit, pull back there a little bit, so to try to make sure that for the next few days that they help and hold the stem like straight.
Do you use bamboo sticks to?
Yeah. Those the butcher string, you know, the weighted string. Taiwan's I use those one, and I put more the rebar. My whole garden is rebar. I had about 1,000 rebar. So so sometimes I put the right. I have the rebar hold the plant, but I also maybe the rebar right next to it. Try to pull a little bit. So this is spend a lot of time doing that. Yeah. Jonah?
I've seen a lot of dahlia gardens in people's backyards, but I have never seen anything as incredible as yours.
And yeah, exactly.
I must take 1,000 pictures of your backyard. And all your cactus is so beautiful, the way you have it arranged along the driveway. And your whole yard's just unreal.
That's my jungle. My own butcher garden.
Oh, yeah.
Colin went around to count how many pots I have, and he told me 162 pots. I said, who asked you to go count my pots? He said, well, do you realize that you have 162 pots? Well, he threatened me to send me to see the psychiatrist, so I don't know how many years we talked about.
Yeah, what amazed me was that garage part of yours, you had all your rejects in it. Your rejects look better than what I put in the show.
All right, so we gotta do a field
Honest
trip
to God,
together.
I could have won with your rejects.
You're welcome if you ever come to Victoria and look for me, and I come for a visit.
I've been to Victoria, so now I'll remember that I've gotta look you up.
Yeah.
She's easy to find.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
And I've
no
been to
problem.
Bouchard, yeah.
Oh, well, wish I don't go there anymore. If I want to go and look at the backyard, that'd be good enough.
I've been there about 5 times now.
Yeah, their dahlias not really good. No,
No?
no.
I don't remember their dahlias.
Their dahlias look more like a cut flower. Because I've been see their the garden. Yeah. Well, we're at the show garden, right? The show flowers, so it's different,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly, that's what I tell people. When I'm growing dahlias, I say, no, I grow the show dahlias, not the Home Depot dahlias, you know, not the nursery dahlias.
There is a big difference.
There is a big difference.
Yes. Another question?
No, I want to say thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for being here today.